All right. Hey guys, Josh B. Craft here, 2mm shift. I have a really important 2mm shift for you today, and you probably have heard of this, right? Like, this isn't going to be mind blowing and flip your world upside down unless you do it, right? So, there's something that has been happening in my life over the past few years. I have been doing that thing that all of us do as we get older. I've been aging. And there's a number of things that have changed, like very specifically in my life because of this aging thing, right? Now, I know I'm not as old as some people, and people that are older than me will always be like, hey, you're still a spring chicken or whatever. But it doesn't change the fact that some things are changing for me. Now, there's definitely some protocols we can, take on, and I'll do some other 2mm shift videos on some of those things. But today, the thing I want to talk about is wildly important. I'm going to tell you a quick story that happened before I tell you what this is and how there's really some just like very simple things you can do to fix this one problem. I know I'm being cryptic. I'm going to hold you out on it, right? So I have recently had a situation where for the past few years, I wake up in the middle of the night, 3, 4, sometimes 5 a.m., and I'm up for like 2 hours. Then I fall back asleep, and then I have the best sleep of the night, right? And that means sometimes I'm waking up quite late or, in the morning. I tend to wake up with the sun, but, it just depends on the day. There was no consistency to it. Wasn't sure what was going on. It's like I always used to sleep really good. Like I've done a lot of meditation in my life. I really know how to relax my body. And like for some reason, this sleep thing was happening. Well, the thing that I found out that was happening is my blood sugar was dropping in the middle of the night. I would pop wide awake, and like my body just couldn't sleep. I was, sort of the chemical balance in my body was off and wouldn't allow me to stay asleep. So I didn't really know what to do about it. And then I got a blood test, and I'll talk more about this as we go, because I have a company that does this, but it's not ready for anybody to know about, so it's not anything I'm trying to promote. But I did a blood test, and in that blood test, it showed certain things, and we looked for very specific things. And it turned out that it was this blood sugar issue that was happening. So I started doing a very simple thing. I drank half a protein shake before I go to bed. And since I have slept all the way through the night, with the exception of some nights when I have some like really heavy things on my mind, right? But like almost instantly changed the game for me in terms of my energy levels, my ability to function, like turned back on cognitive things that I had felt like slipping away from me, right? So what's the 2mm shift today? Well, really it's around optimized sleep. Now, my story is anecdotal in that it's just mine, and you may not have a blood sugar drop in the middle of the night that's causing you to sleep poorly. You might have other habits, staying on your device until you fall asleep, right? Some people need it perfectly quiet before they go to sleep, or they read a book or whatnot. Other people need the TV on. But if you're not sleeping well, something is broken in your routine, right? Now, I can't tell you what that is because it's a very personal thing. But here's a couple things that I can tell you. If you put together a nighttime routine, a routine where you wind down and prepare yourself for sleep, almost universally you will have better sleep. So what does that routine look like? Well, again, it'll be different for different people, but here's a few things you can think about adding to the situation. First off, you can read a book. I know this day and age, we're inundated with screens and we've got all this stuff going on, and sometimes it's lost on us to actually pick up a physical book and read it. We listen to it with audiobooks and so on and so forth. Pick up a physical book and read it. The reason is it changes something in your brain. It shifts into a different gear. And that gear is much more imaginative, right? You imagine dreaming, right? You're igniting things in your brain to trigger your imagination while you're reading these books, which is akin to, I'm sure there's some neuroscientists that would suggest that I'm either right or wrong here, but at the very least, you intuitively know thinking about things in your mind's eye is somewhere akin to dreaming, right? Like it's not that far of a leap to assume that you're putting your brain into a state that's a little more focused into that realm, right? So you can read a book, do something that, if you can, do a sauna or do something that is stimulating your body as a whole into a more relaxed state, right? Maybe you do meditation before you actually go to sleep. One of the other things you can do is look at your eating habits, right? Are you eating really late at night? Are you eating like processed carbs late at night? Are you eating clean foods late at night, right? Like what's going on? So the basic thing that you want to do here is take an inventory of the things that really affect your body, right? So what's your food? What's the state of tension in your body, right? And then what is your mind doing before you actually fall asleep? So if you can kind of track those three things and look at what's happening now, you can easily roadmap some different things to test out and try in your entire, go to bed routine, so to speak. So if you can engage something mentally, emotionally that's relaxing and calming, you can engage something physically that's relaxing and calming. By the way, this might be stretching, you guys. This might be a light activity or light workout just to loosen your body up a little bit before you fall back asleep. And some people would say, well, you don't want to turn on endorphins before you go to sleep. Maybe that's true, but I can tell you when I do it, I sleep better, right? So it really depends on a lot of factors, but as you start to inventory these, you can start to make routine changes that are going to help you sleep better. And here's one of the things that you need to understand about sleep. There's actually a plaque that builds up in your brain because being awake, if you talk to like real brain experts and listen to sleep experts, being awake is akin to low-level brain damage, right? There's a wear that happens on your mental faculties, right? Literally the physical structure that makes up your mental activity. It has to recharge. It has to do a process every day. And the reason we go to sleep is in part to clear out that plaque. When you go to sleep, there's actually these pumps that happen with cerebral fluid and spinal fluid that actually go and wash that plaque away, clean the brain physically to be prepared for things the next day, right? So when you understand that those things are happening inside of your body, you can imagine how important it is to give your body what it needs to do that properly and how big of a difference that can make for you. Because if you get your sleep right, there's only a couple of other things to get right in terms of health. But you get your sleep right, it's a massive, massive shift into a different sort of reality where you got more energy through the day. You can engage in more high cognitive sort of brain stress activities, right? And you'll be able to be more engaged with the people you love for a longer period of time. You'll be more of the version of yourself you want to be than not. Sleep affects us in some really crazy ways. So I'll invite you to do an inventory on those things. What are you doing mentally, emotionally before you go to sleep right now? What's the state of your body physically before you're going to sleep, right? And then what are you doing in terms of food, right? Food's a really important part of your body and how all of that works. So you might find that the tension in your body doesn't go away because the foods you eat before you go to sleep are terrible, right? Maybe you smash a pizza before you go to bed. Your body goes into a state of being agitated, right? For some reason, the word isn't coming out of my mouth right now. Inflammatory. It's going into an inflammatory state where all of the tissues just expand a little bit and they're irritated. And that causes a tension in your body. It's going to affect your sleep, right? Last thing you can do if you really want to tune in on this, I use something called a Whoop strap. It's a little, it costs money. It's about $30 a month, but it tells you all sorts of things about your body. And I can track my sleep night over night, and I can tell you exactly what will happen. If I change my routine, I can see it in my biometrics. So having a biometric feedback device can be really, really useful on controlling that as well, because you can figure out with pretty good precision what actually causes you to have problems sleeping as well as many other things. So that's my 2 millimeter shift today. Let's look at your sleep. You get this right, everything else in your life gets easier, gets better, gets more of the things we want it to be. So we'll look forward to seeing you in the next one. And don't forget, this is all about strategically provoking progress. So I hope that this is helpful. I hope that you like this. If you do me a favor, like and subscribe on the video, do all the fun stuff, share it on social. If there's somebody that you think this would help, please share it there. If you want to hear more on the topic, you want me to do like a real deep dive on this stuff, I certainly can. And 2 millimeter shift, I try to keep things short and sweet. But if we want to go deep on a subject, man, just let me know in the comments. We'll go deep. We'll look forward to seeing you again real soon. Bye now.